think it's just a conspiracy theory. And so I want to show you how ridiculous it's getting and how close these products are to sell to people who have money. Because, trust me, if ABC's going overboard with this cheesy documentary on basically that people alive now are going to live to be 150, then they're getting ready to start selling this stuff to you. But unfortunately, it's not going to go to poor people. It's going to go to the privileged people, the rich people. So I wanted to play some of this right here.
ABC News, Barbara Walters special.
This is really cheesy stuff,
too.
too.
With the new technologies, you could prolong lives to several hundred years.
A lot of people will say this can't possibly happen.
We're on the verge of cheating Mother Nature, extending life to 150 and beyond.
This is not science fiction.
Tonight, the most amazing discoveries.
We stumbled upon this molecule from red wine. I almost fell off my chair.
Need a new body part? They'll grow one for you.
It's phenomenal.
If you're in your 80s, you'll be behaving as if you were in your 50s.
And preserving your body in these tanks for the future.
What will you say to each other if you are defrosted at the same time?
We made it.
Plus, how is Paul Newman winning the race against time?
Fantastic!
Live to be 150. Can you do it?
Listen to this, how cheesy this is. Oh, no. So here we go, beaming down to Barbara Walters in the future.
Good evening. Take a guess. How many people are 100 years or older here in America? Would you believe more than 84,000 and climbing at an astonishing rate? Tonight we're taking you way beyond nips and tucks and diet and exercise to the cutting edge of the search for a longer, healthier life. What you will see would not have been possible just a few years ago. So whether you are 20 or 40 or 60 years old, living well past 100 could happen to you. It is a yearning that grows in us before we're even aware.
I'm not going to bore you with all the cheesy dribble here. I'm going to go ahead and especially, let's see, we got about 15 minutes left in the broadcast, so I'm going to have to skip ahead here a little bit. I got to get this guy here.
It's certainly conceivable. We now are very poised to be able to manipulate and slow the aging process, so it could happen.
Dr. Aubrey De Grey is a respected expert on the biology of aging who developed his theories at Cambridge University in England, and his theories are as unconventional as his appearance. Dr. De Grey, when most people talk about living longer, they're talking about 10 years, 20 years. How many years are you talking about?
I think that within the next few decades we have a pretty good chance of effectively defeating aging as a cause of death. I think people would live to about 1,000 years in that circumstance, on average.
When he's not punting down the River Cam, he is floating radical ideas on life extension. A lot of people will say living to be 100, okay, living to be 1,000, you're off your rocker, doctor.
That's right. And it's my job to explain why, in fact, this follows.
Okay, I want to pause it here. I'm going to rewind this just a little bit here. Because, you know what? I mean, this guy is at the top of the quest for ending of aging, and, you know, he's just not looking too healthy to me. This guy looks like he's already got one foot in the grave. You know, that's just me, but... So this guy was actually has done a few radio shows. He's definitely a transhumanist and leading in the field. But I just have to say, come on. Apparently these people are taking all these drugs, but I mean, several of the people that they show in the documentary, they don't look too healthy, especially this guy.
Job to explain why, in fact, this follows by step-by-step logic. Within the next 20, 25, 30 years, we'll develop rejuvenation technologies that can be applied to people who are already in middle age and keep them middle age or less for another, let's say, 20 or 30 years. During that 20 or 30 years, the technologies will be further refined to give them another, let's say, 50 years, and so on.
Just in case his time runs out before the science kicks in, Dr. De Grey plans to take the road less traveled to immortality, chemically preserving his body. A practice so outlandish.
Okay, I mean, chemically preserving his body. A lot of these people cryogenically freeze themselves They somehow fear dying so much that I guarantee this guy's one of them too, where they will attempt to download his consciousness so that if they can revive his body, they'll go ahead and upload the consciousness back to the future human. I mean, it's definitely sounds pretty ridiculous, but federally funded billions of dollars a year.
It is fair game for skeptics and comics alike.
Reanimation complete.
Where am I?
You've been cryogenically frozen for 30 years.
Who are these people?
The shouting is a temporary side effect of the unfreezing process.
Just outside of Phoenix, Arizona, stands a testament to man's obsession with long life. Inside these stainless steel containers at the Alcor Company are people who, before passing on, signed up to have their bodies treated in a process called cryogenic preservation. Immediately after death, the blood is replaced with a solution designed to protect the tissues against extreme cold. The body is then immersed headfirst in a vat of liquid nitrogen and stored at 320 degrees below zero, all in the hopes that science will one day restore the person to life. And these
are right. I mean, come on. Even if they do restore them to life, like it's going to be their soul's going to get trapped in there or something like that. I mean, it's nuts. But people like Walt Disney have had it done. All kinds of people. Phil Spector is going to have it done. I mean, it's ludicrous. Now, this is all stuff that we've seen. This kind of thing has been paraded around a current affair for years and things like that. Let me skip ahead here to some of the real science here of what they're able to do now. And it's bizarre, but it's happening. And these people may have already discovered how to regrow everything and could extend life for potentially hundreds, if not 1,000 years.
Into reality. When we come back, we'll show you eternal youth could be just.
See, that's the whole key. Eternal youth. So you see here, they're marketing this towards.
For most of us, these bizarre, otherworldly shapes are strangely beautiful. But the world's best aging researchers see something entirely different. They see the answer to possibly the most important and complex question of all time. Dr. Sinclair, as I look here, I'm seeing very cute little colored cubes.
Well, these little cubes are actually the protein in our bodies that we believe controls the aging process.
If he is right, Dr. David Sinclair has found one of the genetic keys that will reset our biological clocks.
I think we've passed a turning point in our understanding of the aging process.
How did he discover these proteins? This looks like a barcode, but it's really a map of our genome, the blueprint for human life stored in every cell in our bodies. A few of these genes play a key role in the speed at which our cells age. Dr. Sinclair randomly tested tens of thousands of cells, searching for the chemical that would activate those genes.
We found them by accident. We stumbled upon this molecule from red wine. And when I looked on the computer, what is this resveratrol, and found that it was in red wine, I almost fell off my chair. Because, of course, we all have heard that red wine is good for you.
Just so happens, I have red wine.
To your health.
How much of this would I have to drink to really make a difference?
Well, our experiments tell us probably about 1,000 bottles a day.
So that was not the solution. Dr. Sinclair then went back to the lab and found a way to make resveratrol 1,000 times more potent. So what does it do in the body?
Well, what we have discovered is that resveratrol works on a gene which is called SIRT1, and this is a gene that controls the aging process. Resveratrol seeks out that gene and switches it on.
And with that gene activated in the mouse on the right by a high dose of resveratrol, she quickly turned into a mini Olympian, running twice as far as the untreated mouse on the left.
And they were eating a high-fat diet, a fatty diet.
Okay, let me just stop it here, because this is precisely what people like David Rockefeller are on, and Henry Kissinger, who just won't die. Why won't you die, Kissinger? They're on these drugs like crazy because they're all trying to barter just enough time to get these regrow all their organs, and if necessary, like the transhumanists would have.